Can I have everybody's attention real quick? I just want to make one quick announcement. This is Randy Powell, and some great magic came together to have Randy come and present today. He's going to be presenting on free energy and some devices, or a device that has more output than what the input that goes into it. Just some talks on the magic and that that goes on that. So I just wanted to make a quick introduction.
Relatively fast, so I think everyone will keep up though. Everyone I've met here so far has been so intelligent and learning. So my project, the project that I'm involved with is called Vortex-Based Mathematics, and it's become popular through a TED Talk that I did several years ago, which has now, in the recent last month or so, been censored by TED. So if you like drama and controversy, we got to find that too. Apparently, free energy is not fit for public consumption. So they want to make sure that you don't hear about what I'm about to say, but I'm going to go ahead and say it anyway. The thing that really distinguishes our project, the opposite word, free energy, is free. And instead of privatizing what I'm doing and giving it away to a corporation or becoming rich myself off of it and getting, to work in the secret Iron Man laboratory, which I'm sure would be fun. What I decided to do instead was to tell everybody to go ahead and just hang on, and I was just going to go ahead and give it away for free and open it up to the public, and a truly open source project. And if you see my TED Talk, my TED Talk, what I say at the very end of the talk is that my goal is to create a grassroots energy revolution by turning over knowledge to the public so that no one can own it, no one can suppress it. Even if someone comes after me, it will be too late because you'll all be aware of it. And you will then liberate and save the world. And so that's the essence of my project. So let me go back here. I put this cool little animation to keep you all sitting here. I just want to give acknowledgement, credit where credit is due. The original title, we used to call the company Aerodynamics, and this is my teacher, Marco Rodin. Marco, he's been at this over 40 years, and it's been an incredible amount of work that's gone into this discovery. What we say is that we've actually achieved the grand unified field theory, or sometimes referred to as the gut. And the essence of this discovery means that you can create inexhaustible energy, you can produce unlimited food, you can cure all diseases, you can obsolete all current computer technology, and ultimately what I like is that you can build a spaceship and travel anywhere in the universe. Now,
okay.
No wonder that censored me. What a nutcase, right? I actually went up there and said just that, and got quite a response. But the thing is, it just happens to be true. So this is my teacher, Marco Rodin. I'm going to keep moving on. There's me, Randy Powell. So if you want to write that name down, if you type it into YouTube, you will see my TED Talk. And I also have some cheap homemade classes that I did. We have some nails in my apartment, and I have some poster boards. Back then, we didn't have all the talented artists and people working on this, so it was just a couple of crazy mathematicians with some markers and some poster board, but it still does well to explain the concept. What this symbol is an animation done by my friend DJ, and this is the essence of the equation that was discovered by my teacher, Marco Rodin, and it happens to be the secret of free energy. If you look at the symbol, you're going to notice there's two basic aspects of the symbol. One is what we call the lazy 8, or the infinity symbol, that green part. And the other is that pyramid, that triangle that's pulsing at the top. These two aspects define basically all, not basically, they define all physics, all chemistry, all biology, science, any science you want to do. And the real bizarre part of it is this symbol was actually developed from a decryption of what's called the most great name of God, the Baha'i faith scriptures. Anyone familiar with the ancient languages, we all know they have numerological systems, or what we've come to call numerology. They call lot of technical names for it. They use this all the time in science. We call it digital roots or decimal parity or all these heady names, but it doesn't really matter. Essentially, what it's describing is two different, the duality that is gauging to create everything around us. You can call it matter and fields. You know, everything in science has to do either with matter and motion, which is what the materialists want us to believe is the essence of everything. And then you have something called fields. We have different ones: gravitational fields, magnetic fields, other different fields. Fields are very interesting. They seem to defy a lot of the standard laws of physical reality in the sense that they can be what's called non-local, or they can kind of be everywhere at once. You know, you jiggle an electron over here in one way, far away, instantaneously responds. So there's some kind of instantaneous, pure connection. There's other ways you can look at it. You can call it spirit and body, or mind and body. You can call it quantum and relativistic. Lots of different ways to look at it. So let me just quit talking and go forward and explain a little bit more about it. Here's a still image. Basically what we discovered is that numbers are real. Alright, now this is really important to take in, because you have to understand that everywhere, in every university, in every country, we are all taught that numbers are arbitrary inventions of human beings. And yet, for many of you, I'm sure, have spent time in mystical traditions, studying sacred art and different things, we realize that there's this incredible reverence for numbers, as if there's some kind of deeper reality to them. And that's what we found, that numbers are actually real. I'm going to give you a simple way to look at it. Essentially, numbers are geometric. Okay, so we're taught in school that numbers don't explain geometry. Maybe, if anything, it's the other way around. But what we found is that numbers are geometry. Okay, so just knowing these simple numbers, 1 through 9, you can do every calculation, every function of every branch of math, all simultaneously, instantaneously. We unify the functions of math, times, divide, plus or minus. And we show that they're all one thing, they all create one shape. And that shape is the essence of our reality, and you can use it to harness the energy which is creating our reality. Okay? I'm going to not go in too much to the numbers today. If you are interested, you can check out some of my classes online, and we hope to have more up soon. I will mention just a couple of things, though. Essentially, what this symbol defines are three important aspects of our reality. One is electricity. Okay, we all know electricity is very important for power generation, and we're all trying to figure out the secret of electricity, and that's what this is. It's not too heavy. You're going to understand it before you leave. Electricity is just matter in motion. You know, electrons moving through a wire. Every piece of matter that moves, it never moves in a straight line. And this is the essence of Einstein's relativity, that all matter is warped and curved. Okay, everything moves at an angle, or it's a wave. And that's what that symbol is defining, a waveform. And numbers are nodal points in the wave. Okay, so every wave is going to stop going up at some point and start going down. Stop going left, start going right. Okay, and that point is what defines the number. There are angles and ratios. So we have electricity. Anything moving at its fastest acceleration will make a vortex. And we've learned how to make electrical vortexes. At the center of electricity, you have magnetism. Okay, it's an oscillating field. And we use these numbers 3 and 6 to define that. I won't go into that too much. The key part is, though, at the center of magnetism, we discovered something that's been completely overlooked, never taught in any textbook, and though they know that it's there, they call it a lot of different names. You can call it dark energy, which is making the universe expand, apparently, according to their theories. You can call it tachyons, which are particles that travel faster than light, or monopoles, which are particles that make electricity symmetrical, or reality has symmetry, just like our body has symmetry. You can call it gravitons, which create gravity. All these different names, and they postulate all these different particles, Higgs boson, whatever you want to say. Essentially, it's really a lot easier than that. What we found is that the secret of everything, is known by all the ancient mystical traditions of the world, is sound, resonance. Sound creation. And numbers are modeling sound. They are harmonic nodal points. All right? Now, I'm going to give you one clear example where how you can understand how that power and that energy works. And then I'm going to move really fast and show you a lot of images about what we have and what we discovered, and show you this device and hopefully get a video going that shows you how it works and what it does. Everybody these days is really interested in black holes. Every week it seems like there's another book on black holes, or be it a science book or a spirituality book. Everybody's got this interest in black holes. And conventional science that teaches that a black hole is just some kind of condensed to infinity. The reason they don't know is because their mathematics self-destructs when they try to calculate what it's doing. Black holes seem to defy all the laws of physics. And it's because their math it can't go through the hole, which is really there. A black hole is not a solid object, it's actually a hole. It's a nozzle or a jet, making a vortex. But there's something interesting about black holes. They teach that the fastest thing, who knows what the fastest thing traveling through the universe? Anybody? Light? Right. They've conventionally taught light traveling through the vacuum of space is the fastest thing. But I hate to tell you all know the death trap, but I'll let you go this time. Actually, light traveling through the vacuum of space is not the fastest thing in the universe. Okay, sound, and I did give you a little clue before, but sound has the opposite property of light. They say that sound doesn't propagate in space because there's nothing to vibrate in the vacuum. But sound travels faster the denser and denser the material that you move it through. So, the particles moving through the air are generally just moving at the speed of sound. If you pass sound through the earth, it's well known that it travels much faster. Okay, if you pass it through denser and denser objects, it travels faster because everything's compressed together and it all vibrates together much more quickly. And so when you get to a black hole, they say that 100 million suns, you can imagine that, 100 million suns is condensed down to the size of a pinhead. Okay? 100 million suns condensed to the size of a pinhead. And it becomes so dense, I don't know if that's true, I'm just going off what they say. It becomes so dense that light can't even escape it. The escape velocity of light is not fast enough to escape that matter, and so it becomes a black hole. The interesting thing is, there's a point, and I'm not the only one who suggested this, actually some other scientists have said this, where sound penetrating that matter near the core of a black hole actually transcends the speed of light. It becomes the fastest thing moving in the universe. And it is literally the word that was used to engender creation. And it is still being used because the Big Bang is really going on at every moment. Let's see if this animation works. While I'm saying a few other things, let's see if this thing goes. No, it's not. Okay, we'll go to the next slide. There we go. Alright, what this symbol is really defining, without going too much into it, what that symbol really does is it creates a sequence that is doubling. Okay? 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64. Everybody knows 64 is significant. We talk about it in the I Ching, the Mayan calendar. There's 64 codons in your DNA. 64 is really just one time pass and go. It's one time through a cycle, and that's what our math is able to determine. Okay? This pathway of doubling, which by the way, if you didn't know, each and every one of you, including me, came here through a doubling process. And that's called conception. Okay? When you're conceived, you have one cell, it becomes 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64. 64, the cells disseminate, become heart cells, brain cells, liver cells. They all become one. Okay? Because 64 and 1 are really the same thing. When you add numbers together, you get single-digit numbers, just called numerology or computer science, digital roots, decimal parity, like I said. It makes a pattern. It underlies pi, phi, Fibonacci. Any kind of mathematical sequence has this doubling pattern underlying it, and it's the secret of creation. You can do halving too, but I won't go into that too much. It defines all powers and fractions. These are just images. You can see here cell division, showing you that doubling sequence occurring. We call it meiosis and mitosis. It's a literally the geometric progression that creates us. And it's functioning through sound. Okay? I'm just going to show you some quick images to let you know that this is not just the ravings of a madman. It is the ravings of a madman, but actually some sane people believe in it too, and they have actually been proving it a lot at the university level. This is Dr. Scott Nelson from the University of Hawaii. He actually applied this math not only to the Great Pyramid to show how the harmonics of the Great Pyramid work, but he applied it to plant growth, and he was actually able to prove that this math is functioning behind the growth of all plants, and that using those calculations you can do things like predict all prime numbers. This was a piece of work that was actually done by Senator Merriman. Some of you are familiar with them. I won't go into all that. It's just showing that these numbers are creating geometric forms. What is the chaos theory of doubling? Okay? What is the geometric form that these numbers are creating? Alright? You can see it right here. It's called torus, or donuts. Alright, my name is Randy, and you all know Randy's Donuts. So you can remember what I told you right here. The essence of creation is the donut. Okay? Homer Simpson would be proud. The numbers form into the shape, and why is the torus or donut significant? These are images of sound vibrating in different materials, sometimes called cymatics, and you can see how it's creating these geometric forms. These geometric forms. Let me go back one second. I should mention one thing before I continue. There's three essential numbers that we really need to know beyond the doubling. So let me just go back and say it, and then we're going to run through this very quickly. Alright, here we go. There we go. Alright. I told you about doubling. Okay, doubling makes a sequence. It goes 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5 if you reduce them to single digits. No matter how far you double, just so you can see it, if you double 1, you get 2, 2 doubles 4, 4 doubles 8, 8 doubles 16, but remember, you add them together, 6 and 1 is 7. Okay, 16 doubles is 32, 3 plus 2 is 5, 32 doubles is 64, 6 and 4 is 10, and 1 and 0 is 1, but you're still with me. 64 doubles is 128, that equals 2, 256 equals 4, 5, 12, 8, doesn't matter, you can go on forever, and you will never stop creating that sequence. 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5. Just so you can see, this was called mathematical perfection by one of the top people at Microsoft. Just so you can see, it's not just going one way, but it's actually a dual system. Half of 1, you go the other way, half of 1 is 0.5, right? Half of 0.5 is 0.25, 2 plus 5 equals 7. Half of 0.25 is 0.125, which equals 8. Don't worry if you're getting lost in numbers. Okay, 0.0625 comes back to 4. You can have forever, never breaks the pattern. Okay, it's really significant. But there's three other numbers we didn't talk about, and this is 3, 9, and 6 connected here by this triangle, which you can't see too good there, but I think you saw it before. It was a famous statement of Nikola Tesla that if humanity understood the essence of the 3, 9, and 6, they would have the secrets of electricity and creation. I'm probably misquoting a little bit, but that was the essence of the statement. So maybe you have heard that statement before? Yeah. Okay. You got it? What is it?
One only understood the magnificence of the numbers 3, 6, and 9.
Okay, stop right there. One only understood the magnificence of the numbers 3, 6, and 9. They would hold the key to unlock the universe. Couldn't have said it better myself. I didn't say it better myself, but he did. Okay, yeah, let's clap for Tesla. Somebody told me once if Tesla was a better businessman, we'd be living in a better world. Too bad I'm a bad businessman too, but anyway, 3, 9, and 6 are essentially defining the geometry of everything. Okay, there's only 3 shapes that can tile space in 3D. This comes to what I discovered. They are the 3, which is triangle. Thank you. The 6, which is Devil. Yeah, maybe. The hexagon, and the 9, which is a little harder to get, but that's defined by this diamond shape you see here. The 9 is a perfect diamond. This is the only 3 shapes that you can use to actually tile or define space. Remember I said numbers are geometry. Now you're going to see why I'm saying that, okay? Let me just say this one other thing. If you take 3 and you double it, you get 6, right? If you take 6 and you double it, you get 12. 2 and 1 is 3, right? Double 12, you get 24. 2 and 4 is 6. 24 double is 48, comes back to 3. You can do that forever, and these numbers are doing something interesting. They're oscillating back and forth. Okay, we only know one thing that oscillates in such a way, and that is magnetism. Okay, Rod Serling used to say, "He who controls magnetism controls the universe." All right, and that's what we found, the secret of magnetism. Now, this was from a scientific journal, and it actually proves that we're correct, showing that magnetic fields conform to these shapes of triangles and hexagons. Okay, again, when you vibrate a medium, okay, using sound, it produces this perfect hexagonal lattice structure, and you can see it again there. Okay, there you see it in plants, that triangulation occurring. There's another cymatics image. Perfect hexagon. Atomic bonds, this was just recently taken, one on the cutting edge of scientific discovery, forming that same structure. If anybody's seen a pattern, you can stop me. These are snowflakes. Every snowflake is a hexagon. That's magnified at like 300 nanometers or something. Big old crystals. Beehives. Okay, light polarizing. Just a few things. Saturn's North Pole. It doesn't really matter. Micro to macro, it's all the same thing. We found that numbers can actually scale up and down to infinity, and that numbers are a fractal. Alright, I'm going to move faster now. This is showing how the multiplication tables that we learned as a kid work. We call these kids' multiplication table, and it proves that numbers have bilateral symmetry, just like our body. Now they teach us that we count with 10 because we have 10 fingers. The truth is we don't even have 10 fingers, and everyone bought a lie. We have 5 fingers, and they're mirror images. You can hide one behind the other. Okay? If we had 10 fingers, your thumb would be over here. Alright? But it's spin symmetry. Okay, it's half of 100%. And numbers themselves create bilateral symmetry. And what they're ultimately doing when you follow these multiplication tables is they're creating a vortex. Alright? And this is the essence of producing energy. After 23 years of working with this symbol, an engineer who was looking at this suggested that, in a very dramatic moment in a dance, he suggested that what we were modeling was a coil with an associated magnetic field, which ultimately led to this coil that we're building now. And we knew this was an energy. We knew this was an energy machine. And this was our first step in understanding what it is. Everything is a coil, okay? Your DNA is a coil, all right? And it matches the shape of our equation perfectly. You can see right here, 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5. But where's the 3, 9, 6? It's not there. And that's what we discovered in this major groove, what they call the major groove of DNA. There should be a magnetic field there. The numbers predicted that. And in contacting the professionals, we found out that they already know that it's there. And this is how you can cure all diseases. I literally mean cure all diseases. Because you can control the way that the receptor sites are docking up by manipulating this field. Okay? It's been postulated by other people. If you know Rupert Sheldrake, called the morphogenetic field. It's literally the field that's creating us. It's an information field, and it has mathematics. And this actually proves very clearly to me, and eventually will be proven in science, that this obsoletes Darwinian evolution. It proves that it's actually a false notion. Doesn't mean that species can't evolve, but it means that it's controlled. It's very much a controlled, intelligent system. Okay? So ending all diseases. This was from the International Biotechnology Expo. See up there at the top where Marco presented on the quantum mechanical state of DNA sequencing, always teases me because I kind of look like him, and they think that I'm actually his clone. Could be, I'm not going to say otherwise. There you can see that field moving here in your DNA, okay? It creates this phenomenon we call nested vortices. I won't even touch that. It turns out, I like this statement so much, there isn't so much junk in the trunk that they thought. This was, you can't read that I know, but this is a recent discovery where they're actually now proving that the so-called junk DNA is coherent and it's actually controlling the coding structure of proteins. And the next thing they're going to find is that there's a field there that's controlling that. So these discoveries led to something called the Rodin coil, all right, named after Marco Rodin. He had a different name for it. He called it the fluxrester atom pulsar electrical venturi space-time implosion field generator coil. Apparently it didn't stick. I don't know why. I'm just going to show you these images quick. You can see the magnetic fields there. So he invented this coil, trying to figure out how is this energy working. The coil that he invented got more than double the output of a standard coil, and there was really no explanation for it. That was tested by Philip Packard. It eventually led to this, which we call the mathematical fingerprint of God. This is every single possible calculation, every multiplication table, every times, plus, minus, divide, that you could ever do in any branch of math. It's all unified into one symbol. Alright? And so this is where my work really began. Because I was the first person after many, many, many years that I actually solved this equation, figured out how to model it in 3D space. And it creates this diamond grain crystal lattice structure. You can see it very clearly there. Again, these are down on the nano scale. You can see it's imprinted on everything. It's called a reticulation pattern. You can see it on our skin. You can see it on your bones when you x-ray them. You can see it on atomic bombs. It's the underpinning geometry of the universe. Alright, now I said that geometry is warped and curved. This is the last point I'm going to make, and then the rest is going to be visual. What is it warping and curving around? Okay, and that's where that lattice structure comes in. Because we found that this energy, even though you can't see it, you can't measure it, you can't seem to detect it with any meters, it's distinguished by the fact that it's linear, doesn't bend, okay? It comes from the center of mass outward. It's an emanation. We call them etherons. Now, everybody used to believe in the ether, and then they said the ether doesn't exist because they measured the drag of the Earth through space, and maybe you know that or not. It's called Michelson-Morley. The thing is, it's not a jello, it's not a substrate. It's a spray, it's a pulse or a surge. It comes off the axis of rotation. Everything's spinning around and rotating. This emanation comes linearly off the axis, and it deflects matter, causes it all to warp and curve, and to take the path of least resistance. Okay, and that's what these numbers are defining. This is showing how you can scale it up and down to infinity, and it produces the same pattern. What it becomes is this, which is a torus, or a toroid, okay? You can see these were some of the early images I did. All these were done by hand. It took a lot of work. Now they're done on computers, thank God. Yeah, it's a lot of nights, a lot of sore hands. This is when you put all those numbers together and you start to look at it in 3D. Now, I figured out how to calculate it before it was really done in 3D, but once they did the models, they proved that I was right. Okay, you can see how these spirals are created, spiraling in counterclockwise at the top, spiraling out clockwise at the bottom. Okay? And these are defining vortices over vortices. We call them compressing and decompressing nested vortices, or vortex pathways. An easy analogy is dimples on a golf ball. Okay? If any of you guys were around back in the day they used to play golf, the golf balls are smooth. Then they created these dimple golf balls based on tetrahedrons, things like that, and they found that it controlled the flight properties, the way that it cut, sliced, and gave it better lift, gave it better everything. And when you want to build a vertical lift spacecraft, which I would very much like to do, this is the secret of how it works, how you steer it, how you move it around. Okay? It's actually creating a coordinate system. And I'm just going to show you some of the images, very beautiful images. The great convincer in the end is beauty. Okay? No one questions a beautiful woman to know about it. People ask us, somebody asked us the other day, who makes these coils? And we said, naked ladies make them. Probably shouldn't say that. It's true.
But it's true.
So here's one of the early 3D images that was done that proved that my calculations were correct, showing how these numbers work. This is the secret of the atom, okay? It's the secret of the periodic table. How you can go from one element to another and calculate the pathways the electrons take. Okay, we'll come back to that. This is DNA again. There's an image from a medical journal showing DNA taking the form of a torus. Doesn't get more clear than that. Okay? What it is a temperature regulator. Okay? It concentrates all its energy to the center and immediately removes it, imploding and exploding. Alright, just like your body regulates its temperature. If I'm going too long at some point, somebody hold up a hand or something, but your blood cells are in the shape of a torus. Okay? A lot I can say about that, but I won't. This is a picture of an imploding gas bubble. They call it sonophysics, using sound to create these imploding bubbles. The center of that jet, that vortex going down there, reaches temperatures of up to 5,500 degrees Celsius. I have articles on this on my website. And it's cool on the outside. Okay, 5,500 degrees Celsius is like the surface of the sun. Alright, it's not a minor temperature. But they don't know how to control it and regulate it. And that's what we found the secret. You can see it in the sunflower there. Very beautiful. Aloe vera plants. Okay. Even dolphins do this. My name is Randolph. People call me the dolphin a lot of times. But this is an image. It's not an air bubble. Okay, it's important to recognize that. This is being done with the sonar of the dolphin. They create these toroidal bubbles and they actually sustain them underwater. And they play with them. They can expand them and contract them. People don't really understand this behavior at all, but they are observing it. In the studies that they have done, what they found is that dolphins are actually using what they call nonlinear mathematics, which is the same thing that I'm describing and talking about here. Okay, scaling it up to the next level, you can see it in weather systems. Alright, they're following these nested vortices. They're called Coriolis forces. This is the magnetic field of the Earth in the shape of a torus. This is a galaxy in the shape of a torus, and pretty much every galaxy we observe is in that shape. There's another one. These beautiful jets coming out. It's an energy machine. Numbers are real, and the universe is a machine. Okay? Pentagonal spiral rotations. You don't want me to try and explain that. But essentially, these are the patterns that these vortices make. Pentagons over hexagons. And they show up very clearly in plant growth. Okay? These are just showing how they work. Now this gets into a little more of the complex side of math, which is where I'm taking it. Very advanced. How you can use this to obfuscate all kinds of computing and to create coordinate systems. This one is very beautiful and special to me. I worked really hard on this. And I actually found the relationships of all the different numbers and how they can specifically be modeled. And we found it created a strange vesica Pisces type shape, like an eyeball there, and it was very much confirmed by that supernova explosion that was photographed, called the Eye of God, because you can see that relationship right there. Exact same geometric shape. Alright, so this gets to the coils. I'm going to show you, let's actually cut to this video now. Okay, this was one of the first times, hopefully they're still up here. There we go. Alright. This is from my buddy Jack out in Hawaii. Lifelong electrical engineer. I remember when he did this, it really blew his mind. It was a great confirmation for me. I don't know if we have sound here. Let's see. There we go. Alright, in this experiment, this is the most primitive, incredibly primitive approximation of what I was trying to do. I talked to him over the phone, and I told him, do this, do that, and he put this thing together. Okay, and you can see he's already disconnected the power. There's no power in this whatsoever. You can hear that magnet still going, right? See it still going? No energy in that coil whatsoever from any kind of external source. I don't know if you saw him actually disconnect the power, but he's going to go about 20 feet away from the coil. Now, if you know anything about electronics, they'll tell you very clearly, when you're working on electronics, like you shut it down before you can touch anything or work with it, a maximum, and they say this will give you way amount of breath, a maximum of 10 seconds of residual fields. this coil does. This is the next level of what you saw there. And Daniel Nunez, who created this, is a wonderful friend and an amazing inventor. And you can watch all his videos on YouTube. Again, this is all open source. Okay, we're sharing this. People are building these all over the world now. This is still not the end-all, be-all of it, with all due respect to Daniel and his excellent work. It's still very much an approximation of mathematics, because I've never had funding, never been able to oversee a project myself. Everyone who works with me calls me on the phone in the middle of the night, and I tell them strange things, and then they come up with this stuff. These are currently producing incredible lighting units. The amount of energy that it would normally take to light, let's say, about 8 LEDs, you can light hundreds of them now. Again, we're only working with very low amounts of energy. And this is taken to a professional level, high energy, and I have no doubt this will become an absolutely self-sustaining, independent technology that can power anything, all right, and with no time limits. I'm going to go back to Daniel's quote. I'll just show you a few beautiful images. You can see how complex this math really is. Man, I remember that night. My teacher told me he was going to stop talking to me because no human being should write that many numbers in one night. And it wasn't, that's actually about 1/4 of the image, but anyway. You can see, these are just showing variations for more of the technical talks we do. It uses magnetism like a refrigerator, and I was saying this years ago. People are like, you're nuts, man. What are you talking about? Magnetism as a refrigerator. Now they're making them in Japan, so, leave it to the Japanese to be ahead of us. They made heat sinks. These are the cutting-edge heat sinks used on computers. Magnetic vortexes. At the very cutting edge of computers, they're using explicit vortices of light, just like we've been saying for decades. It's proving that it works to create the fastest computers ever, 2.5 terabits a second. And there's the image of what they're using. So you let me know if I'm being out there in my speculation. That looks pretty darn close to me to what I'm modeling. You can see how magnetic fields form into that exact shape, another confirmation. Alright, it's an antenna, it's a gyroscope. Alright, it's a flying saucer because it can use acoustics to create levitation. Alright, anti-gravity, whatever you want to call it. And there's an image now that just came out with this, if any of you saw it, where they're levitating things using sound. And they're affecting actually the molecular structure of pharmaceuticals doing this. It's called a reactance drive. It can move any amount of weight. It doesn't matter what kind of load you put on it. A lot of times when they light these coils up, the more lights you plug into it, the power goes down. The power consumption goes down. Okay, that's 180 degrees of what it's supposed to do. Alright, so they really just defy all logic and explanation. So we can literally use this, I believe, to transcend our biosphere, to become intergalactic citizens. And I didn't say that. That was actually a statement made by a gentleman named Tom Dawson when this was presented at Aerospace America back in 1988, if you can believe that. There it is. There's a poster. Aerospace America. George Bush was the master of ceremonies. Black hole to white hole. Okay? Showing coordinate systems. Alright, now I'm going to show you one last video just to leave you with. And this is one of the late, newer ones that's come up with Daniel. And I thought I should give Daniel a chance to show his face. Everybody will like him. He's a really good looking guy, he's a model. And, is it going to work? Let's see. Oh, maybe it's not going to work.
This is Randy Powell speaking now. You're just tuning in.
Phone fixed at the store.
September 26th of 2000.
He had given a TED talk that was later censored for having this information.
She sent me this text message, and it was a picture of Daniel with his Verizon earpiece. People have no idea when they look at these pictures who these people really are. This guy's going to change the energy landscape of the planet, but he's feeding his family by using his pretty face. Anyway, it looks like this video may not work. What this video shows, and you can all go home and watch it, okay? You look up ABHA coil.
ABHA. ABHA.
You'll find stuff. Look me up for Daniel Nunez.
Daniel Nunez.
Working there? No. Daniel Nunez Mind. That's his YouTube page, and there's probably 100 videos up there now showing these technologies. But at the most recent test of this device, it produced, what does it say, 458% over unit. Alright, let me explain to you how significant that is. Because if you ask an engineer, what is this? Alright, most coils are used with a core and they wrap it many times around the coil to create an amplification of the field. This should do nothing. This is like an extension cord, if anything. A pretty one, but nothing more. It doesn't have any of the turns. We don't use a core, it's just air in the middle. There's no special components, no hamsters under the table. And yet it's producing all this extra energy. It defies every known law of electrical engineering. So we're going to, again, give this away to the public to create and liberate us, because the whole operative word in free energy is free. Alright, this is for everybody. It's not, I don't own it. Okay? And we have publicly stated that this work is open source to the public. Alright? And so there's no one gonna come after you if you want to build one of these on your own. So anybody can contact me through my website. I keep my phone number in the public, as crazy as that is. I get so many interesting calls from people, occasionally some scary calls from people, but it's okay, none of this happens. And really the important thing I want to say right before I finish is that this is all very serendipitous or synchronistic thing that led me here. I didn't have any plans to do this. I was in Los Angeles working on a film, a feature film, to explain all this work in a very fun and entertaining way, and teach people about what they can do. And we're also going to publish a book. It's being done through Raw Studios. It's going to have a lot of images. It's almost going to be like a graphic novel that's going to really break this down in a fun and easy way and give people the tools that they need for the cost of a book to start to experiment and do this on their own. And we encourage people who do it. You can even get kits for these from Daniel now. But we encourage people who are doing it to post their results on YouTube and share with the community. Because really it's not me who's bringing free energy to the world. Okay, I did this much. I brought a spark. Okay, and I did a lot of work and suffered a lot of years to do it. But I did it out of love. And it's now up to you to take this to the next level. It's up to all of us to create this movement, because once we do, my goal is to have a laboratory that will be completely open. Anybody can come, you can look at everything. All results will be published. All results will be published, okay? If you go to CERN, which costs $500 billion, okay, and which admittedly by the leaders has no practical application whatsoever, no results are published. Okay, so this is really a radical thing. And anyway, I thank you all so much for giving me your time.
Okay, so this is Randy Powell, and he has a famous TED Talk that's now censored because he discovered.
If you want to see this, you can come up and look at it. I'll be
website?
around if anybody has questions. Thank you.
Can you tell us the website? Oh, here we go. That's my
My website is the Abha Kingdom, THEABHA Kingdom.com. And this is my good friend here, Thomas James, who's helping us with the movie, and he's been a really good friend and helped me to get out here to do all this. So thank Thomas too.
Okay, guys, I hope you caught all of that. I am gonna say thank you for joining us here at NoFest. It's been an incredible time here this weekend. Very mind-expanding, soul-expanding, consciousness-raising experience. This guy is just getting flooded with questions now. And I'm going to sign off because I have been streaming my brains out, and my data plan, I think I'm way over, so bringing you guys so much knowledge. So if you're just tuning in, go back and look through the videos that I've been streaming this weekend of some of the incredible people. All right, thanks everybody for tuning in. I'm going to sign off for now. Thanks for the restream, Rise PDX. I think you were mirroring me, and thanks for tuning in, everybody who's just been appreciating this. Once we're archived, please share it widely. So let's get this, groundbreaking, visionary, cutting-edge information out to more people, so we can help solve all the problems in the world. Let's do it together, guys. Love you. This is Freedom, broadcasting live from NoFest in Los Angeles. Thanks for joining us. You can find all my videos on ustream.tv/OccupyFreedomLA and visit my website, occupyfreedomla.org, to find all my channels that you can follow. Ciao for now.